Hello, everybody. My name is Lily Davis from KCR College Radio, and I'm here with the amazing Gayle Skidmore. She's a San Diego-based singer-songwriter who has just returned home after spending several years in the Netherlands, and she has a hometown show coming up at the Casbah on April 15th. Gayle, thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so to start off, just go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Ooh. I just moved back to San Diego. I was in the Netherlands for 8 years. I married a Dutch man, and but I'm from here. I went to Monte Vista, East County, Spring Valley, if you know it, and went to school in LA. So I've lived a couple of places, but yeah, I'm happy to be home.
Yay, awesome. Well, we're happy to have you back here. For listeners who may be discovering you for the first time, how would you describe your sound in this current era?
It's kind of Baroque indie folk pop. It's got a lot of layers. The Baroque just means it's layered, and I like to orchestrate stuff. I've been doing my own production lately, so it's very probably too many layers.
There's no such thing. Come on
There's no one
now.
to
There's no
regulate
such
me.
thing. Awesome. Yeah. So as you mentioned, you recently moved back to San Diego after 8 years abroad. How has coming back shaped you creatively with your songwriting or with your production or just ideas that are flowing?
It's been really nice to be back. I think there's a really strong community of singer-songwriters and independent artists here, and so that's definitely been inspiring to me. I was pretty isolated in the Netherlands because the last few years I was there was pandemic. So I
Right.
was by myself in my home studio a lot, which was great. And I did collaborate a little bit there, but I'm better connected here. So it's been really just delightful to be home.
Oh, yay. Okay, that makes me so happy. So, your newest single, The Road to Nowhere, was inspired by your trip to Finland. Can you tell me a little bit about what that experience meant to you and how it inspired that song?
I think that a lot of us went through a really dark time in the last couple of years, and maybe are still kind of there.
Mhm.
There is a lot of craziness going on in the world, and everybody has had their own experience with the pandemic and with relationships in the last few years. And for me, I had a lot of stress, which affected my voice. I
Mm,
ended up getting lesions in my throat from stress.
wow.
And if anyone out there takes stress in their body and just gets wrecked from it, you can relate. So my pandemic hobby was ancestry.com.
Mm.
Very old lady baby. But I had a neighbor who lived below me who baked bread, so I didn't need to bake bread because we'd get the bread from a bucket from him over our
Oh,
balcony. So I ended up finding living cousins in Lapland, Finland,
oh wow.
and having traveled all over the US by myself, touring to New York and back in my car, I was like, it's not that far of a drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I convinced my husband to go. And first, we were just going to go to Sweden, to Malmo, because it was only 10 hours.
Right, right.
Yeah, and then I ended up, I had been in a family group for my great grandmother's last name. She's my Finnish grandmother. And some people started posting their own ancestry stuff during that time. And I ended up being able to trace back the Finnish side of the family to these cousins and finding out exactly how we were connected. And I was like, it's only 3 more days of driving to go to Lapland. So I asked if anyone wanted to have coffee when we got there. And they ended up inviting us to stay with them for 4 days. We had a mini family reunion. And I found out that my roots were actually Sami roots, not just Finnish, which is the indigenous people of Europe, and made a connection there. Now we're going back again this summer. We've been back several times. They feel like family. They look like me.
Mm.
Um, it's been really special. It's changed my life, and that was just such a relief and just something to hold on to during that really stressful time. So the song is about escaping reality for a little bit, which I think everyone can relate to, no matter what side of the coin you're on.
Yeah.
Um, and Salla, where my family lives, their tagline for their town is actually Salla in the middle of nowhere. So that inspiration came from.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Yeah, I think escapes are also necessary to just relax and find yourself. So that's beautiful. That is such a lovely experience. So you've been songwriting for a very long time, since such a young age, and have written over 2,500 songs. Is that right?
It is. I can't
Wow.
guarantee they're all good.
Well, a song is a song, a song is a song. So,
Yeah.
what has inspired you to continue creating at that level?
Um, it's not really something that I always choose. Like sometimes I sit down and I want to write a song, but a lot of times I just hear stuff in my head and it's a way that I've always processed.
Mm.
So it's just like I would keep a journal when I was a child that was just full of songs and it wasn't about, writing about my day. It was just writing about it through a song. So it's just the way that I do life, kind of.
Yeah. Wow, yeah. I think I read that you started songwriting when you were like 3 years old or something. Yeah, that's so cool. Awesome. Well, your songs are also very personal and poetic. How do you decide when an experience feels ready to share with your audience? Like, how do you decide when an experience is ready to be shared with the world?
Um, you have to think a lot about your audience as well. I think creating art, you're creating something for other people. So you're creating it for yourself to express your real deep emotions, but you have to think about like how is this going to be perceived? And I don't necessarily shape my song, like I don't change a lot, but I do think about what's going to be relatable. Am I going to be able to share this like very personal thing like and feel comfortable?
Hmm.
Is it something that would have value to other people?
Hmm.
I think it's similar to visual art. You kind of just know when you know, and you can't always put a finger on why.
Yeah, it feels like it's time and it's ready. Yeah. Awesome. I'm sure a lot of artists can relate to that, especially when they pull their inspiration from their own life. Wow, yeah. So your most streamed song on Spotify right now is Dance Alone. It has over 60,000 plays. What inspired that song and what does it mean to you now that it's one of your most streamed?
That was a collaboration with a Dutch producer, Laurens. He goes by LVDS.
Hmm.
Um, and he sent me the music and I wrote the words. And it's kind of just about celebrating your own independence. And
Hmm.
I think that's something that's always been really important to me. I had a baby a couple years ago, and so I think even more now that's important to me to retain a sense of self in that.
Hmm.
Um, and especially as an artist, I had a lot of people tell me that I was not going to be able to have a career
Hmm.
and have a kid and not have like a real life and and a career. But I think that song is really significant to me because it reminds me like I'm my own person and I get to decide what that looks like for me and decide what I want to do with my life.
Yeah, well, clearly they were wrong because you're still doing the thing. So show them.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's really cool to be able to prove them wrong with the song. Like,
Yeah.
wow, awesome. Well, alongside songwriting, you also have tons of experience with a wide variety of musical instruments. What instruments do you tend to gravitate towards when you're coming up with different arrangements for your songs?
I think about the vibe of the song and different instruments have different vibes. I
Hmm.
play piano. It's behind me. I don't think it's kind of blurry. So piano is my main instrument. So a lot of times I start there,
Hmm.
but it just depends on my mood, I guess,
Hmm.
and what instrument is probably closest in proximity to me.
Yeah, I was reading about a bunch of different instruments that you play. Do you have like a favorite or like maybe an especially niche one?
I love the piano, of course, but my best friend gave me a banjolele,
Mm.
and it's awesome. Do you play at all?
I do, yeah, I play guitar. You just flipped it
Okay,
on me. I play guitar. Um, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
that's
But
all right.
yeah,
I
I've
like
never played a banjolele though. That sounds really like I can kind of picture what that might sound like.
yeah,
But
it's just a full, like more of a full sound. It's got the full banjo head, but the little short neck and the
awesome.
nylon strings. Do you know Deering banjos?
Mm-mm.
They're in Spring Valley. They're based in San Diego, and they're one of the bigger, I think that maybe the biggest banjo distributor.
Oh wow.
They're made here, and they're pretty awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of cool things, another cool thing that I found was that you had a song featured in an HBO show called Looking.
Yeah.
What did that feel like to have your song be in a production like that?
Surreal. I've had a couple of placements, but that was definitely one of the bigger ones until I had a song in a movie and I got to go to the theater. But that was very, very cool. And I sat with my very close friend Kathleen to watch it. And yeah, it just felt like this huge thing I'd worked towards for a long time. It was really amazing to experience that.
Oh, I love that. So, shifting a little bit into live performances, do you have a favorite venue that you've ever played at across all of the tours that you've been on and all the shows you've gotten to play?
Ooh, ever. Tough question.
You could do a top three if you want to, or just an honorable mention if there's one that sticks out.
I really love going to Sedalia, Colorado. There's a castle there. This is going to sound very fancy. But I have played there several times, and one time they brought owls to my show because I have an owl that I painted on my banjo. So they brought this like treat. But it's really beautiful. It has the most amazing view. Everyone there is wonderful.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, I always just feel like, how am I here? It's awesome.
Wow. I didn't even know that venues like that existed. That is so cool.
I don't know why they call me, but they're awesome.
I'm gonna have to look that up after this. That's so cool. So then, apart from venues, do you have like a most special show that you've ever played or a performance experience that has really stuck with you?
One of my favorites was in Munich, Germany. I think it was, I had lived in England prior to my trip to Germany, but it was like one of the more significant shows for me out of the country. And I was like, how's this going to go? And I think it might have been the first country I played in where I didn't speak the language.
Mm,
I was like, this could be real awkward, but I got four encores and made some lasting friendships, and it was super wonderful. So
oh
I
my
always
gosh,
think about that one.
that is so cool. You really have been all over. I'm just even from hearing in this conversation. So now you said you lived in England.
I went to Oxford for a semester during
Oh,
university.
awesome. Okay, yeah, that's so cool. And then I know you spent some time here. You were obviously born in San Diego. Um, and I assume you're happy to be back, but is there some place that still kind of calls to you, some place that you lived or some place that you visited where you maybe would want to go back to?
So many. I mean, I have the travel bug, so that's a long answer to that question. Finland for sure. Salla has just become super special. And going back there to do some touring, I have a band in not Helsinki, Jyväskylä, Finland, that tours with me when I'm over there.
Hmm.
So really looking forward to going back there. I also spent summers growing up in Puget Sound in
Hmm.
Washington. My
Hmm.
grandparents lived on Lopez Island, and so that's super special to me
Oh,
also.
yeah. I understand that travel bug. I mean, once you start to see what's out there, you just want to keep on seeing. There's just more and more and more.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, so a little bit back to your live shows. For someone who hasn't had the honor to see you live before, how would you describe the atmosphere of your shows?
Well, I like to keep it real fun. I started baking cookies for my shows.
Oh, wow.
The first time I did it because I played at a local venue. I won't name it because I heard that the sound guy was grumpy, and I was like, I don't really want to deal with that. Like, I get nervous, and I bring five instruments when I play live, and I was like, he's gonna hate me. So
Coming in with just five different things, right?
it's a pain in the butt. So I thought, well, if I bake him cookies, he can't be mad. Um,
Wow.
like he wasn't going to eat all the cookies, so I put him on my merch table, and then everyone was stoked. And I was like, well, this is fun. I like this energy. So now I want to have a good show. I bake cookies.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard of anybody doing that before. More people should do that, I think. Just to have a little treat in there. That's so cool. So are you going to bring cookies to your show on the 15th in San Diego?
Absolutely, I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all heard it here. Go get some cookies at the at the show in San Diego on the 15th.
You
Awesome.
got to come early though, because Sutton, who is closing the show, he tends to eat a lot of the cookies.
Okay. No, you gotta go.
Watch out for it.
Okay, set a timer, set an
Yeah.
alarm. Awesome. Well, so when you're doing your shows, when you're going on tour, do you have a pre-show ritual that helps you get into the right mindset before you go on stage?
Oh,
other than bringing the cookies, like when you have a moment to yourself?
I'm usually doing vocal warm-ups.
Mhm.
I'm not very exciting, but I do try to listen to something that will put me in a good energy.
Mhm.
When I was touring for a long time in the States, I would listen to audiobooks.
Hmm.
But you have to be real careful about that because I once listened to Watership Down and I would just arrive so depressed.
Yeah, you got to pick the right
I
kind of book.
was like, this is a mistake. So now I try to be careful what I'm paying attention to beforehand.
Yeah, that's true. Especially if when you come in, you want your vibe of the show to be like all light and energetic.
Yeah. I mean, some of my songs get pretty dark, so I like to not be in too dark of a mood
Right,
already. 'Cause
right, right,
then,
right. You can't let it take you. You gotta like have a little bit of spectatorship.
yes.
That's funny. Awesome. Well, so if you could collaborate with any artist, I know you've worked with other musicians before and other producers. If you could collaborate with any artists dead or alive, or even just like if you would like somebody to produce your song for you, who would you choose?
Ooh, I would love to collaborate with Stromae. Do you know?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I do. He's the French singer, right?
I think he's Belgian, but he speaks
He
French.
speaks
Yes, you're right.
French.
Um, yeah, he's wonderful and he's so creative. And yeah, his videos blow my mind. It's
Yeah.
very different from what I do. I mean, I do dabble in the electro swing world. I've done some releases there, but yeah,
Wow.
he's
That's so funny that you mentioned his name because I've been thinking about him a lot recently. His music is like super unique and his music videos are so interesting to watch. So yeah,
yeah,
that's really,
really powerful, I think.
yeah, completely. That would be such a cool collaboration. I hope you guys can make that work.
We
And
can dream.
then, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm done.
Okay, okay. And then just for fun, maybe this is something that you listen to before your show if you're gonna hype yourself up, but do you have a guilty pleasure song that you listen to that people might not expect?
Hmm. I don't know if I have a guilty pleasure. I usually listen to a lot of dirty old Frenchman singers,
Mhm.
Arthur H. There's a couple of them. I think the chanson singers have a really good energy for me. So I don't know if I don't have anything that's real surprising. Although I did maybe this isn't gonna like shock anyone unless you know me. Pink Pony Club, but only because of the Chit show. Do you know about Chit?
Uh-uh.
It's Jay Renshaw. You're gonna look this up later. It's
I
very funny.
will.
Very
I'll look.
like off the office style
Mm.
little sketch show that I found on TikTok, I think. Yeah.
Wow, I love Pink Pony Club. That song is
I
really,
listened to that song on the show and I was like, it's kind of catchy.
it is catchy. It's totally catchy. I'm hearing that one all the time these days.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, just wrapping up here, is there anything else you'd like listeners to know about other than your show on the 15th? Just upcoming projects or performances that you want to give a shout out to?
I'm playing tonight, but you know. Let's see. I'm releasing a video with this song. So we're going to be showing that at the Casbah. I went out to Bombay Beach, if you know it. It's on the east side of the Salton Sea. And there are a bunch of incredible artists who've all been very, very gracious to me to let me film in front of their art. Um, I actually didn't know you legally had to ask until after I shot the video. So I was like, oh, cool. But they've all been amazing and have said yes to me, which I'm very grateful for. So we're sharing the video on Wednesday as well.
Wow, that is so cool. Okay, so that's double. You get cookies if you go to the Casbah show. You get to see the music video if you're going to go to that. That is so cool. Wow. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time today. Please make sure to check out our hometown show on April 15th. I am Lily with KCR College Radio. Thank you all for listening. Bye.